For most of human history, reaching a massive audience required heavy, expensive machinery. If you wanted to broadcast a political message, you had to own the infrastructure. The steep cost of printing presses and broadcast towers naturally created a system of institutional filters. Editors, producers, and network executives acted as the wardens of public discourse, deciding exactly which ideas were fit for mass consumption and which would be ignored. The arrival of digital networks bypassed those filters. Anyone with a smartphone could broadcast their opinions to millions, allowing unknown activists, comedians, and teenagers to build political movements without asking a television producer for permission. Mass communication decentralized away from legacy institutions, but it immediately reorganized under the ownership of tech platforms. The public square relocated to corporate servers. Today, a handful of executives dictate the rules of communication for billions of people. These platforms operate across global borders, yet their policies are drafted by corporate boards in California. Citizens and governments rely on these networks as essential infrastructure for public debate, elections, and crisis response. Yet the platforms themselves are built to generate advertising revenue, not to protect democratic ideals. A small moderation team can decide which political narratives trend and which vanish. They enforce a single set of speech boundaries onto vastly different cultures, languages, and political systems simultaneously. Modern civic life now relies on a communication architecture designed, owned, and monetized by private enterprise. The core mechanism driving these platforms is the underlying software determining what users see. Recommendation algorithms rank and sort billions of posts to keep people scrolling for as long as possible. Attention equals ad revenue. This diagram illustrates how the system processes human behavior. To maximize watch time, the algorithm must provoke a reaction. The data consistently shows that anger, tribal conflict, and fear generate the highest engagement, creating a loop where emotional outrage directly commands algorithmic amplification. This chart tracks how content performance shifts based on emotional intensity. While calm, verified discussion flatlines, sensational and fabricated claims spike exponentially. The system accelerates falsehoods because truth rarely triggers the same immediate engagement. That digital acceleration bleeds into physical reality. Fabricated election scandals, coordinated propaganda, and medical conspiracies go viral, driving real-world unrest and panic before fact-checkers can even respond. Dangerous misinformation is a mechanical byproduct of an engagement-driven business model. To manage the fallout of their own algorithms, tech companies deploy massive content moderation teams to remove hate speech and prevent digital radicalization from causing physical harm. But tasking a private corporation with defining objective truth creates severe structural problems. Moderation guidelines reflect the specific cultural and political biases of the developers writing them, which often leads to misjudging the nuances of global political speech. This leads to uneven enforcement across the network. Depending on the current political climate, legitimate activism is sometimes swiftly restricted, while coordinated manipulation by powerful actors remains untouched. Deleting controversial voices rarely eliminates their influence. Banned communities simply migrate to smaller, unmonitored corners of the internet. Isolated from pushback, these groups frequently radicalize much faster. State actors quickly realized how to leverage these exact moderation systems. Authoritarian regimes regularly pass strict laws against online disinformation, legally compelling tech companies to scrub the internet of political opposition. Stepping in to stop the algorithm from amplifying lies requires handing authority over human communication to a centralized power. The most effective way to manage political speech requires no direct censorship at all. Platforms exercise soft control, restricting visibility rather than deleting content. In this network model, you can see how algorithmic suppression operates. A user's account remains active, but the platform quietly severs their reach by demoting their posts in recommendation feeds and search results. Their audience disappears, and they never receive a notification explaining why. As this diagram pulls back, it reveals the structural result of these invisible adjustments. Millions of people are sorted into isolated clusters, entirely unaware that the software is actively managing the boundaries of their reality. A perfectly impartial social network cannot exist. Choosing what to show, what to hide, and what to recommend is always an act of ideological curation. Society is caught in a trap. Leaving the algorithms unmonitored allows viral outrage to overtake facts, but heavily regulating the feed grants a few corporations dominion over political discourse. Perfect balance is a myth. Every technological fix either accelerates polarization or increases corporate control, leaving the public to decide which consequence is less damaging. We have to ask whether an infrastructure built specifically to harvest human attention for advertising dollars can ever coexist with a functioning democracy. The code that predetermines what billions of people see every morning is the primary governing force of the digital public square. Its ability to amplify content exerts more influence than its power to delete it.